Hi, this is Dorothy Smith. Daisy and I are here today to talk some more about So Much Happy paper. And I will be perfectly honest with you, this paper has been sitting on my clubroom table for about a week and a half or 2 weeks, and I keep on waiting for inspiration to hit me. I went to Pinterest, I went to my how-to books, and I just couldn't quite get there. So what I have done is finally got inspired to do some pages that will work for Jim and me and are traveling in our RV, which we haven't done a whole lot. He's been doing a whole lot of work on it and updating it and, cleaning up the problems that it had. And I decided what I needed to do was to make an album for RV travels. And so that kind of helped me because this paper is great for spring wildflowers, which I've said before. And, I was kind of picturing roads with fields of flowers on either side, which you get a lot in Texas. And that's why I kind of decided, okay, this paper is going to be great for road trip pictures. And so my first layout is going to be, actually it's a second layout because I did the sketchy challenge first, is going to be called Road Trip. And I have a road going through it, and I've got some wildflowers, and I hope you like it. I think Daisy does. So thank you. See you in a bit. Hope you enjoy the video. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Dorothy Smith. I'm a close to my heart independent consultant, and today I'm going to show you a layout that I did using the So Much Happy paper that is in our catalog until April 30th. So this paper is just available until April 30th this year. So these papers are great for wildflower shots, spring pictures. They'd be real cute for Easter pictures. They're just kind of whimsical, little tiny flowers, sweet little hearts, so it's a great picture, great papers for spring and Easter and wildflower layouts. And the bright colors just add to the cheeriness of the papers, so they're real cute. And I decided that I would not necessarily use the instructions, but make up one of my own layouts for using this paper. And that's what I did. But these are the papers. I'm kind of showing you the back side and the front side of the background and texture papers. And, the little hearts were just so sweet. That's what I used for the road that I built. I have little tufts of grass all over the place, too. So the paper that I chose as the background is a nice kind of grid paper, so perfect for kind of a map type setting. And the back side is a colorful little pinstripe, but I really liked this grid. It kind of just spoke maps to me for who knows why. It just spoke that to me. So I decided to use that grid layout. And it's kind of nice because then you can line up your layout pictures, your rectangles for your pictures. And you don't have to do a whole lot of measuring. You can just line them up with the line, so it's perfect. This is the one side of one of the background and texture papers, and it has all these wonderful cutouts. So I cut out a lot of the clouds, and I cut out some of the little flowers, a little group of flowers down at the bottom. And I really decided I liked this kind of feel. So I have to say I probably went on Pinterest and got some general ideas and then just kind of put my own thing together. What I found using my You Are Here Cricut cartridge from Close to My Heart is an RV, which Jim and I have now. It's an older one that he's redoing. So I was showing you the little white enamel dots that I put along the road to designate the lanes. And those are kind of, reflective. Now there's the grass that I used. It's a border from the art booking cartridge. And so I cut out several strips of grass and chopped them up into little hunks so that there would just be little tufts of grass along the road. So that's, there's my RV in the, now this is the You Are Here cartridge. So they had a little RV that actually looks like a food truck to me, but I left off the little window that has the scalloped awning to make it look more like our RV. And then I also used this kind of sign that says road trip. So it's two pieces with the background in the sapphire blue, and then road trip itself is in the yellow, and then I decided to add a little red stripe to go across the top. So I cut the two pieces out. Now, when you see the two different sides in the Cricut cartridge, in the Cricut book, you cut out one in one color and one in another color so that you get more of an idea of what, instead of just a flat look, you get the outline in the background and what have you. And so I decided to put the door on, you'll see it later on, I put the door on a little pop-out type thing to kind of show the background coming out of the door. And I also use some stash items, like I have the doorknob that I use is from some little puffies that we had quite a long time ago. I'm going to use a little heart for the doorknob, and the white enamel dots are also from my stash. So I am using some odds and ends from that don't come with the kit, but I know you all have stuff in your stash, so let's use it up, right? So anyway, here we go. I'm putting my frame on the background of the RV, and this is not dissimilar from what our RV looks like. It's a Class C, so it kind of has the truck front, and it's not a trailer, so it pretty much looks like that. And here's my little puffies that I'm going to use for a little heart for the doorknob. And I got to thinking, it looks kind of crazy to have the door kind of ajar while you're driving down the road. I want you to know we don't leave our door open while we drive down the road. That would be nuts. But this is just for kind of seeing inside. Not that there's anything to see on the inside of the sapphire, but anyway, it looks cute and it looks less boring than just having it flat closed. So anyway, that's our RV, and Jim has done so much work. He's ripped out the couch and ripped out the floor, and we painted the inside over the vinyl. I probably told you about that before. And he's now in the process. He's painted the top of it with a rubber paint because it was all kind of cracked from sitting in the sun. So now it's going to be fully waterproof, and now with that done, he's going to start installing some sun panels. What do you call it? Panels that make electricity. I can't think of them. It's not a skylight. Solar panels, that's what it is. So, I'm very lucky that I've got a very crafty husband. He likes to do a wide variety of things, and getting on top of the RV he's not fond of it, but he did finish painting it, and the next is the installation of the solar panels. So he's read up all on that, on how to install them, and he put the batteries in, and he's done a really good job. So we'll be able to do what's called boondocking, where you don't necessarily have to have electricity to hook up with. You'll have some power from the solar panels. So anyway, it's going to be we're going to have a time for sure. So anywho, there's my little RV. And I didn't put the dots, and that's where the RV is going to sit on the road. So the road I made from a template. It's a big Lazy S, and it's about 2 inches wide. And so I just kind of made a template and put it on both sides so that they meet at the same and have kind of a continuous road going from one end of the layout to the other. So, and then the tufts of grass will just, I decided that would just make it look a little bit less boring. And what I had wished I had done was move this all the way down to the bottom, but for some reason my Tombow was especially sticky and didn't want to come up, even though I didn't press it down especially hard. But just if I had done that, then the second side of the road would have been a little bit lower, giving a little bit more room to the other pictures. But oh well, what can you say? You just kind of go with, right? We're not into perfection here. How many times have I said that? Okay, so there we go. Just no big deal. I'll just continue my road and just, you know, make it do. And in the end it worked out just fine. But, you know. So once I get the second part of the road done, then I'm going to start putting the tufts of grass. And there's the little group of flowers that I cut out from the background and texture paper that has all the cutouts on it. So I saw those and I thought, well, okay, what am I going to do with that? And I thought, well, let me, it's spring in Texas, which means that there are wildflowers all along the roads. So I decided to put a little group of wildflowers along our little blue road here. Get my little grass out of the way. So anyway, this is not a complicated layout. It's, actually went faster than I thought it would have, but I had been kind of trying to figure it out for a while, and I wasn't getting especially inspired. And then a little, it would come to me in dribs and drabs. So all of a sudden I decided, oh, I needed some grass along the road. And then it was like, okay, where's the grass? And then I found the grass in the art booking cartridge. And then it's like, okay, well, those are too straight. So if I cut them up, then it could just be little tufts of grass along the way. So I'm probably being silly, but what can you say? Scrapbooking sometimes is silly, isn't it? And that's what makes it fun. So I'm going to use, I'm not going to use the pop-ups for the grass, but I am going to use I am using pop-ups for the RV to sit on the road, which sort of makes sense. But I'm going to use my glue stick, my glue pen for the grass because it's pretty thin, and I didn't want to use Tombow on it because the glue would show. And so the glue pen worked out just perfectly for the grass along the way. And I tucked my wildflowers in, I had Tombow on the back of those and tucked them in behind the road. So it fit perfectly in that little inside curve there. I love the way it looks there. So now I'm just putting my glue stick along the grass. So on the pictures, so the placeholders are 4x6, vertical and horizontal, and a 3x4. So the sapphire pieces for the 4x6 are 6.5 by 4.5. The candy apple red pieces are 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then of course the picture holders are 4x6 straight ahead, or 3x4. And then on the 3x4 picture, the sapphire is 3.5 by 4.5, and candy apple red is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So there's just a little bit, there's like an 1/8 inch border around, color border around the white and then around the red. And I liked the way just a small amount of color goes a long way with the really bright colors. So I'm tucking the grass in, some of them on the, top side, I can tuck them underneath the road. But on the bottom side, it's like they're going over the road. Not much I can do about that. I think it would look weird to have them go upside down and facing outward. That would be just strange looking. So those are all my little pieces of grass, just to add a little interest along the rather straight, flat edge of the road. Anyway, I like this little grass border from Art Booking, because the grass tufts are going every which way, and I just kind of like the kind of wild and woolly look that gives, being kind of a wild and woolly girl. So there's my grass, there's my road, there's my little wildflowers, and the little frame here and the little yellow piece. Now those are stickers that came on the strip, and I just put them on a piece of candy apple red just to kind of make them stick out. Otherwise it's the same color as the background. That blue scallop background frame is the same color as the background, so I just wanted a little red around it just to make it stick out a little bit. So I'm putting the 3 pieces together, and I took my Le Pen and made just a really rough frame around the inside of the white. Some gals like to do that, and it just adds a little something. That now that's not to say it's not going to get totally covered up if I put an exact 3x4 picture there, but if I don't, then there's that little scribble frame that just adds a little bit of interest to the frames in general. So I'm using my Tombow on the pictures just to make them be nice and flat, and no need to have them pop up. As you can see, my frames are getting rougher and rougher as I go along. Getting shaky in the old age here. Anyway, Jim and I've got a trip planned in July, I believe, to go to Wisconsin. So we're going to go up to the air show in Wisconsin. It's put on by the Experimental Aircraft Association, and it's probably one of the biggest air shows in the country for experimental airplanes, and it's a big deal. Lots of people come, 100,000 people come. Bang up job of showing planes and having exhibits, and especially warbird exhibits. If you know of any men that would be interested in the warbird display and museums, and they have a demonstration in the middle of the field that would just knock your socks off. They do a whole kind of war exhibition, dropping simulated bombs and having it's just an amazing show. And then they have a nighttime show where they have the planes flying, and there's like sparklers coming out of them and fireworks, and just a spectacular job. And they always have name bands to show up, and always big name celebrities that show up that are really interested in veterans like Gary Sinise, and people that are interested in planes, you know, like Harrison Ford. So it's always a big time show. Okay, so now I'm putting my road trip sign together, and I just made a little red strip to go along the top of the scooped. I think that's like the interstate shape, I think. Interstate sign shape. Anyway, so I'm just adding a little red to it. I didn't, you know, I could have just put it on the road trip yellow, but with the blue showing through, but I decided to add a little bit of red. If I wanted this to look more realistic, I probably would have done the yellow in white to look more like the signs that are out on the road. But this is my sign for my scrapbook page, so it's got to match my scrapbook page, and that's the way it goes. And so there we go. That's my little small title for this page called Road Trip. And then I'll add more details to the journaling, and I'll also add a date that will go at the top also. So, and I'm popping the sign up with the foam dimensional circles. So that's going to go up at the top there. Now the clouds are going to be, and there's one, I love this cloud with the blue bird of happiness flying on it. So we all need the blue bird of happiness any chance we get. So I had to use, you had to use her. I mean, that's just like perfect. So I'm liking the way this little layout is coming. And see how you don't even have to measure with all the lines there. You just use the lines that are available. And then I'm going to pop up the clouds to just add a little dimension, and they'll go over the tops of my pictures. And then I can snug up a picture underneath the clouds, and they won't interfere with the picture. And that will be, you know, just add a little bit of dimension to the layout. So couple of the clouds are the thicker not cardstock, but chipboard. So the ones that are trimmed in the blue are chipboard, and the other ones are the cutouts from the cutout page. So you can tell because there's the little design on the back of it. And I may have had some other clouds, like I think that other white puffy cloud on the left-hand side is some clouds that I cut out from one of the other cartridges, where I cut out a whole ton of clouds and just keep them for anytime I need some clouds. I've got a bunch. So that's a good thing to do when you're cutting out some things that are common elements that you could use for a playground or a school, you know, returning to school. You know, all sorts of different kinds of layouts where you could use something, a common element, which a cloud is. So I just cut out a whole bunch, and so anytime I need clouds, I go to my cloud box and get a bunch of clouds out. So just something to save a little time here and there. So this is why I wished that I had put the road lowers, because I'm kind of, you know, going real close to the top there with the pictures. But it's okay. You know, it's just fine. You know, it's not a big deal. I'm just changing out my Tombow here. And on the road again here. Okay, there we go. I always love fresh Tombow. So there's I have a vertical and I have a horizontal. And, you know, sometimes I usually put a lot of horizontals down, and you always wish you kind of had a vertical. So there I'm covering my base here. Now I need to remember to take vertical pictures too, right? So I'm popping up some more clouds. See, that was a cloud that had been cut out from a long time ago, because there's nothing on either side. It's just made with white cardstock. So by setting them up from the background. I can tuck pictures in easily if they run over on the background, like I'm doing there. So I like the way the clouds they just add a little something to the feel of the outdoors. And actually, I guess that's why I really liked this background, is it kind of gives you a kind of a sky blue look. So it's a perfect background for doing a road trip kind of page layout. So there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. So what I want to do is make an album that has all layouts that are just for our RV travels. So I'm going to be we have a bunch of cutouts or Cricut cuts that have the national parks in them, and with the names of them, like Yellowstone and stuff. So I'm going to be able to use all of those cuts. And we also have a state cartridge that's a digital cartridge that's going to be perfect for this. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like my layout, and you could do it too. So thank you so much for watching. Bye now.